night at Soap and Comms is Friday. Another week. Did it.
Another one.
Another
And
one.
we're totally starting on time today. And
Yeah.
not
Absolutely.
2 hours later.
I don't know
That
what
is on
happened at the
point.
time. There was some kind of anomaly going on. It was 6:55 or 5:55, and then it wasn't.
time warped.
Yeah. So how's everyone doing? Everyone get their free 5 days?
I didn't go do that. Thank you.
You got
Right,
3
not
more
yet.
days. You got 3 days. Log in. What's up, Tambert? Log in. Go to the NES store, or I guess a New Eden store. It'd be like saying New Eden store. Yeah, go to the NES, and it's just free 5 days. Click on it, redeem it, and you get 5 days.
Hell yeah.
It's cash money.
Just in
pick
time
up the
for
bright-
Capsuleer Day.
It's almost
up the
like
bright
that's
side,
what it
Jordan.
is. Is that
What?
Oh,
Whenever CCP wants more money, they'll turn the NES store into the Super NES store.
oh shit!
God.
Got him.
And then its greatest rival, the Genesis store.
Man, something I didn't realize. They have a link to the Paragon Hub in the NES store, and I saw like it will cycle through just random skins of ships that are in the Paragon Hub store, and I saw one. I was like, ooh. I clicked on it. Maybe it's because I was in the Pro Raider at the moment, and it was a Pro Raider skin, and is this guy is selling this one called the Zorro. Or Zorro T2 or something like that. And it literally looks like a white skin with a black like Zorro mask. It's got the 2 eye holes with even like some pupils in them or whatever,
Ooh.
wrapping around the Pro Raider. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. But the guy, he's not selling it for ISK. He's selling it for like 180 plex. I'm like, that's still real tempting though. I kind of want to get it.
I might fuck around with it and see if I can figure out what pattern he used, and if I can figure it out, then
Yeah, but I
could
mean, the
custom
cost to
something
make
like
the
that.
skin and then probably buy the components you need for it probably is close to that amount of ISK anyway.
Well,
or
I mean,
plex anyway.
well, yeah.
But
Then
yeah,
you pay me, not him.
oh yeah. It looked really cool though.
There's some fun things you can do with the patterns. Like I actually am really like I don't like how much the cost is and how much Plex is tied into everything necessarily, but I really like the design aspect of how the system works.
Yeah. Why does it get weird in here? Does it? I mean, it does.
We haven't even taken our first shot yet.
Oh, we have it. We could do around the horn.
Let's do Around the Horn.
Oh, I guess I'm up first time. I'm just doing some vodka and some cherry 7-Up. Like you do.
What am I going to have? Jesus. Oh.
All of that.
Always on the search.
That's just par. That's par for the course, Mrs. LB. That's not weird for these parts. That's pretty typical.
Pretty tame.
Oh.
My turn?
Yeah. Scroll. Yeah. What's up?
I'm having an old style Pilsner beer.
Is it a Paulaner?
Nope. No, this is a Canadian beer. It's very cheap. But it's not bad.
Oh yeah, 'cause
It's
you
literally
can't get
just called-
American beer.
Well, I could get anything I want. No, actually, no. They pull it all off the shelves, so fuck them. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Old style Pilsner beer. So that's what it's called. There's a train on it. There's some white rabbits on it. There's a plane and a car.
That's all the things you
some
need with a
mountains.
Pilsner.
Oh yeah.
I remember having a Steam Whistle beer in Canada. That was pretty good. Steam Whistle
Yep.
Brewery.
Yep.
I've had a Moose Drool. I didn't like it, but Kokanee's delicious.
It's pretty good too,
The
yeah.
brewery for Steam Whistle, the fact it's in an old roundhouse is it's pretty damn awesome. One of the coolest breweries I've ever seen.
Kokanee's, it's kind of like your regular beer, like a Bud Light or something, but it's like got more flavor, so it's not like a Bud Light or a Coors. It's actually got a little more oomph to it.
So it's not water.
It's not water, yeah. What's up, Cheetah? Darwin's here. What's up? Yeah, yeah, I liked Kokanee. I think the only reason I didn't like Moose Drool is because I don't like porters or stouts. But I don't know. I've heard other people that like those beers say that it's pretty bad. It sounds gross too.
Moose drool? Is that what
Moose-
you said?
Yeah, it's a Canadian like stout. I don't know if it's a porter or a stout. I think it's a stout. It's called Moose Drool. I think it's
very
from-
much so. Gita, very much so depends on the beer because much of it, yes, some of it, no.
when you get to like a lot of the microbrews and specialty. The only thing is like a lot of times you get into, especially like there's a lot of microbrews and like small breweries out of like Portland and shit. And some of them are good, but it's like 85% of what they focus on is IPAs. It's like, do you guys make anything that's not IPA? Because IPAs,
No,
like,
IPAs are hit and miss. They're
I know the
okay.
feeling.
There's a lot of microbrews like around, especially around like chunks of the Midwest that are a lot more similar, actually, like to like German beers or like more European beers.
Hmm.
The Dragon's
That's the
Milk
place
stuff,
I'd like.
Dragon's Milk stuff that's made like around here by one of the local breweries is also like really, really popular beer.
Hmm. Hold on, we're getting derailed. Redline, do you have anything?
Oh yeah.
Redline topped up. Skyhawk, what do you got?
I am in the similar vein as you. I'm drinking vodka and lemonade.
Nice, that's delicious. And Vlad.
I've got a Hurricane. Well, it's Hurricane Mix and Bacardi. So
Nice.
I am out of Cokes. So I am just drinking the Hurricane Mix with the cheap Bacardi.
There you go. I feel like if you're mixing it, you don't really need a high end.
That's what Bacardi's
Liquors.
for when I want to drink
Yeah.
cheap rum.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a fan of Smirnoff, but if I'm mixing it with shit, why not? You know.
Kirkland vodka for me right now, and honestly, it's pretty good for vodka for like the price of it.
Wait, Kirkland
It's-
vodka?
Kirkland, yeah,
It's like Costco.
Costco. baby.
I've heard that that's actually a high end vodka just with a Kirkland label on it.
That's
Basically.
what I heard. It's either I think it's Tito's just relabeled.
Oh,
And here in Michigan, it's $14.96 for a 175-liter bottle.
Is it just me,
Nice.
or does anyone else think that Kona beer is just a meme beer? It's like a run of the mill beer, but it's become such a meme that people like to say that, oh, Kona's the best.
it's got a little. Isn't that the coffee beer?
No, it's the Hawaiian beer.
Oh yeah, I've had. Well, they have a bunch of different flavors and stuff too. It's like Kona's like the brand, but there's so many different things on it. I don't know.
Like
don't-
Big Wave is a specific one of those,
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
I think I've had that. It's fine.
Yeah, Big Wave's the big one.
It's fine. Yeah, I agree with Darwin. It's decent, but not particularly outstanding. I think that nails
That's
it.
my point exactly. But people like to overhype it and call it and basically make a meme out of it for just a average to below average beer.
Yeah.
If you're ever in Wisconsin, I highly recommend trying literally anything from New Glarus Brewery, but their Spotted Cow is my absolute favorite beer that I've ever had on this planet.
When you're in Gatlinburg, you'll want to go to any of the restaurants that's owned by Copper Cellar. They have their own breweries, and those are really good.
I'll try
then-
it. I'll truth be told, Spotted Cow, while also super popular across Wisconsin, the manufacturer does not sell it outside of the state of Wisconsin. It's also the only beer that I've ever gone back to because I enjoy it. I'm very picky with beer, but I'll try
You
anything.
like lager?
It's Spotted Cow is a farmhouse ale.
Yeah, they do a couple. I think they do a red ale and maybe a brown ale. I'd have to go Google what all they have listed. I'll send you a link to their stuff.
Okay.
And I'll
So-
send you a link to a local brewery that's even better.
So LB,
Mhm.
looks like there's been a little change in Zarzak.
What?
What's going
I've
on
been
in
on,
Zarzak
I've been on
land?
exercise all week. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, construction complex around the Deathless Shipcaster in Zarzak has been removed.
Oh yeah?
What's
I
that?
don't
Let
know
me
what
go
that implies, but are they?
Is that in patch notes?
It's in patch notes. Oh yeah, let me put a link
LB,
to the patch notes.
log in and tell us what you see. Give us
I'm
first
I'm undocking. I'm undocking right now. We'll fly to it and I'll
It's
tell you
in
what's
the-
up.
Yeah, we need
I
to-
didn't know the Deathless had a shipcaster. I mean, I guess it's their tech that they built all the other ones from, isn't it? So Makes sense.
It goes. It ship casts you to the pirate fob.
Hot. Yeah, and then Infomorph Decryption Trader at have them read. There's been some graphic updates in Zarzak. There you go.
Yeah, so it looks like there used to be like a construction gantry around the shipcaster. It is no longer there, so the shipcaster must be complete.
So
So now we're
wonder
seeing
And they
that
took
Can I
away
get
the scaffolding
new-
around it.
if now that it's complete, I wonder if it's going to have new additional capabilities.
you can shipcast
Mhm.
out into null sack. Oh damn.
Shipcast to your mom's house.
Before we get too far, since he's actually here right now, because I don't think Darwin was here when we talked about what we were bringing for him. But Darwin, both Drayden and myself are going to have some special deliveries from the States for you.
Yeah. That we will. They should make a your mom system like a URTAC M0M. That should actually be a system. Yeah, those things. And then there's some back end thing they worked on. So they're saying it's not going to be very visible, but it's going to make it easier for them to implement new sites and distribution methods, new content distribution methods in the future. That's
Shout
what it
out in chat to Darwin. He's actually going to be presenting at FanFest this year.
said. Sick. Yeah, and then most of the patches are a little light, just some touches.
But it's also leading into Capsuleer Day,
Which
which is tax day if you live in the States.
I don't wait that long.
I
So-
do, because I always end up having to pay the government money.
they changed the date for it this year too, didn't they? Like, isn't it typically later in the year?
It's always been around the 1st of April, like around
I
tax
thought it
day.
was always April 15th. Was
Oh yeah, because it's the
I
day
thought
that
I
EVE
s-
Online launched.
That's the
why
deadline.
we do it.
I thought I saw something where like they had changed the date of it this year.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Does it have anything to do with them laying off a shitload
I
of people at the
doubt
IRS?
it.
Yeah, I filed my taxes hella early this year, and I got my return back in the first week of February.
See, the smart thing is if you know you're getting money back, file it as soon as possible. If you have to pay, file it the 14th.
Yeah, I always
And I
make sure
I
get money
engineer
back.
it so that I don't have to pay.
Yeah, I claim 0 and I have them take out an extra $10 every week, so that I know that I'm paying in way more than I'm going to owe. So then I get money back, a big chunk of it at the end of the year every time.
You know, you're basically giving the government an interest-free loan, right?
I don't
Which I'm
really care
completely
about
okay
that.
with.
I don't care. It benefits me, and therefore I don't care if they get a benefit too.
Yeah, the
And-
pennies
and-
involved don't bother me. But
How I look at it is that
Because I would not save that money. I would that $10 a week. I would be spending that on bullshit. So by putting it into something that I can't touch it, like physically can't go get it, that forces me
That-
to save it. Because I
I'll
wouldn't
put it
save it on my
another
own.
way. That interest-free loan, I'm totally okay with that being the price that I pay to not get a surprise bill early in the new year.
Yeah, that too.
the way I look at it is that if I have to pay money, it means I need to up my retirement contribution.
What's that?
Yeah. So every year, it's like
I
oh,
don't have one of
money.
those.
I don't
Then
either.
it's like okay, I need to up it by another 0.5%. Except now I think I'm going to max it out, so I can't add any more.
Yeah, sadly at 33 I have no retirement savings and
At
probably
4
won't have one.
At 40, I have no retirement or savings, so I'm gonna just
Yeah.
basically work until I die. That's my plan.
Same.
I don't get to retire. I'm gonna work until I croak.
Such as
Unless
Okay.
I
Like you're
when-
in IT, in 5 years you'll be able to start saving for retirement.
that's I'm playing a fucking long game, Vlad. Trust me, I know.
All right. I think that's all the. Oh yeah, Capsuleer Day.
Yeah, that Jesus.
Which we were going to before we got derailed on taxes.
Yeah, the date just sent us off on a tangent. It doesn't start yet though, right? Begins April 15th.
Yeah, because today's the 11th.
I've never done the Caps Leader Day stuff. What do you even do?
Sites.
They're adding new sites. They're going to add stuff in the Drifter wormholes, which is interesting, and they're adding sites in Podgefed.
Are they adding any sites not in those?
Yeah, I think the sites are going to be all around, but the most lucrative are going to be in Losec and in Podgefed.
Well, I feel like they're always the most lucrative. Graphical updates.
Yes, Timber is shilling because he worked on them.
Oh, sorry. I haven't noticed. Although last week I didn't fly a police skin. I think I flew like a Quorum Navy. Although I was using Timber skin because I think I have what do you call it? What's the other Timber line? The like dark one.
The Peace and Order
Empyrean
skin.
Outlaws?
Empyrean Outlaws. Yeah, I got one of those for the Quorum Navy, but I do have a police one for the Thrasher Navy.
Police skins are the best skins.
Fixed an issue with flickering decals on the Enforcer while fitted with the Empyrean Outlaw skin. That's the fixed various issues with Idris, Federal Police, Imperial Police, and State Police skins have all been fixed. All non-Galente holes now have the latest police VFX and geometry. Lights now blink correctly. I always wondered, I wondered that because when I got it for the Thrasher, I was like, you could see them. You could see the lights blink a little, but it wasn't a lot.
Did you guys happen to encounter the minor visual modification to POS shields this past week?
It's
They were green
green.
for a little bit, weren't they?
Wait, people still use POSes?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, POS shields turned green, which honestly was an upgrade as far as I'm concerned.
They need to
It
rip
looks
POSes
better.
It sounds
Rip
like a
POS cut
Nova
out.
POS.
Just they should just make a new Citadel structure, like a medium Citadel structure that is basically like a newer POS, but
So actually,
then
Timber,
they
with
can
what
actually
you're
rip the POSes out.
I'm genuinely curious. How long would you say it takes you on each skin that we see? And if you can answer this, how many hours would you say it takes you on average per skin that we see, like as an end product, get into the game? I'm just curious what the time cost there is for you, if you're allowed to say that.
Can't imagine the time spent would be NDA. More like what he's specifically doing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
No, it's
And
None
a-
of your
that's-
fucking
yeah.
business.
That's fair. That's why I put that caveat in there, because I knew that might be a thing. Interesting. Okay. Thank you. I was just curious.
I'm assuming he can't tell us how much he gets paid either for them.
Most likely, yeah.
They're a Viking. Thanks for the resub, dude. What's up?
Guys.
How's the old tat feel, or the new tat feel?
Not as sore as I was about an hour
Okay.
ago.
That makes sense, Tamber.
Can you lay on your back at all, Nerve Viking, or are you stomach?
Haven't
soaking?
tried.
I probably wouldn't. It's gonna smear because when you get tattooed, you like leak ink for a while and you just smear.
It's
on anything
it's
you
not
lay
so
on.
much ink as like
It's like
plasma and
plasma.
blood
It's
and
plasma
stuff.
and with some ink in it though, because I definitely
Yeah.
like when I would wear like a white T-shirt when I got my side
Yeah, no, I'm,
tattoo, it would be like there'd be like black ink stains on the inside of it for like.
before
a
I go to
couple
bed, I'm
days.
gonna go shower and like wash it and stuff, and then I'm gonna throw on a t-shirt when I go to bed.
Gita, they didn't change passes. They accidentally changed the color of the shield. And I believe they've already fixed it.
Accidentally.
Yeah. Air quotes.
But yeah, that's the top half of my tree. We're gonna do the trunk and roots, an outline of some wolves and some ravens later, and then sessions after that we'll do like fill in detail.
Are you specifically making it like an Yggdrasil tree?
Yep.
Sweet.
That's cool.
Also, am I pronouncing that even remotely correctly?
Yggdrasil. That's about as
Right.
close as I can accurately pronounce it, because I don't really speak the old language.
Where's it? Oh, Darwin's left. Never mind. We need an Icelander to tell us.
Well, so the real word that I want to see,
Darwin's
y'all,
American.
I would be impressed if you guys could pronounce is what I just put into Twitch chat.
Yafiali Yoko.
Parts of that
Hey,
word.
yeah, fiat la local. Yokel.
Yeah. You're pretty close there, Vlad.
I went to the. I remember my very first fan fest. They had a little card with how to pronounce this properly. It's like Eya Fiat Yokel.
So the double L is a T sound?
Oh,
Yeah.
J1 is saying it.
Fiala Yoko.
Eja Fiala Yokel.
Is it Ja?
Look at that shirt.
It's Nordic J is a.
That's a
Some of the
beauty
letters in
shirt.
That's
that
a
are
hell of a
actually like
shirt.
silent,
Isn't
so
J-
it
I thought it was like
kind of
a-
flows through.
I thought J's in Nordic were like a Y sound.
Eya Fiat La Yoko.
Look at that shirt. Look at it.
Jotun.
I can feel that, by the way. I can feel that.
That is a hell of a shirt.
It's like a voodoo doll.
Are you bringing a handful of those?
I
Camber?
must ask you where you got it.
How many of those do you have, Timber?
Yeah. Are those going to be for? Are you bringing a bunch for sale?
Traded. Look at the stream. It's perfect. Look at where Tamber's camera spot is.
He's got my name tag.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Timber, how many of those shirts? Oh, I love his cat ears.
Hello.
Can you hear us,
No.
Timber? I don't think he can hear us.
Nope.
So Tamber, honest question.
He
that
can't hear us.
He's working on his.
Oh,
You got to go into user settings and set your audio, video. It's probably set to some like.
Hello.
There we go.
There
Hello.
he
Yeah,
is.
we can hear you. Tamber, that eel that you showed us last week, is that a short fin or a long fin eel?
Who is that one?
That is a New Zealand native, which is I don't know. Hold on. Longfin.
Yeah, I googled them and there's like 3 types of them. I'm like, I'm not sure what that is. I'll ask Tamber.
Who's that? Shh.
Switch it, Matt. I got so many of these. It's crazy.
That's awesome. That's
wow.
Selena
Luzerante?
Luzfrante?
Luzerante?
The
Boojum.
Boojum. Nice.
Apricot baby.
Did you just say apricot?
That's what it sounded like or looked like.
Do you guys say apricot as apricot?
Apricot.
It's I think I've heard both. Like it's kind of one of those like some
I've
people
only
say
heard
they-
apricot in my part of the nation.
It's just I think it's just like a regional thing.
I've never heard it apricot. It's always apricot.
I've said apricot, but I've heard it apricot.
English is hard.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like
Corvus?
it's like soda and pop. Like it depends on who you talk to, what they use,
Or Coke.
or Coke. That's specifically like the South.
That's
Do
a
you
southern
want some
thing.
bubbly?
I can't. The
Burbage.
names- okay, the names are hard to see.
But Drayden, I once decided to be really cheeky. I was on a Delta flight out of Atlanta and I asked if I could get a Pepsi.
I
So
think they'll know.
I just looked it up because I was curious. So formally American English is apricot, British English is apricot.
Crashed out. I am happy with the.
So
hungry
that's how it's
power of
spoken
Fark.
in the British English speaking world.
Yeah.
Is apricot.
There are a lot of these. Street cornerback. Oh, that's street cornerback. I know who that is.
I swear,
I
like,
recognize that
these
name.
people, I'm like, who are they?
Chadster, or Chad.
AS
Chad's
1298.
1298. But yeah, like I know Crash Snaps, I know LB, I know Street Corner Becky. Those
You
are
gotta
the
get one
names that.
for Drade and Timber.
Who's that one?
That's Amioma.
Amiomia.
Amioma.
Isn't that
Yep.
the girl that's going to be streaming FanFest?
Yep.
Yeah.
This one's my favorite though.
What's that?
Arthmos.
Tyran.
Arithmos.
Tyranners?
Tyran first.
You guys don't know Erst, the streamer? He streams in black and white.
No, I don't
Never
know.
heard
That's,
of
that's a
him.
cool
No.
shirt though.
You would have met him last time, Skyhawk. He's really short, like really short.
I met a lot of new people last Fitch Fest. Looking
So
forward
is
to
he?
seeing
So
more
is his
people.
stream a miniature stream then?
That is almost life size. That's how small he is.
Oh,
So when do you fly out, Timber? You come up, you head out there before the rest of us, don't you?
Yeah, next week.
let's actually
Nice.
pick him up, put him on my shoulders. We can just do like Master Blaster.
When are you getting deployed, LB? You're leaving soon, right?
Yeah. End of May, early June, around there.
Is that a 3 month, 6 month?
6 month.
Oof.
Where are they
The only
sending
time
you
for
out?
Christmas. Latvia.
Is that by Riga? Riga?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was like, I get
Yep.
all the Baltic states. I mix up. So, like, I know Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, but I never know which one is which, and I don't remember like which one is like Riga is the capital. of one of
remember-
them.
Vilnius is capital of Lithuania, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I taught myself though. I was like,
yes.
if you go top to bottom alphabetically, that's the order. So Estonia's at the top, then Latvia, then Lithuania. I'm like, that's an easier way to remember it. But I was like, the Baltic states always. I'm like, I know where they are, and I know what the 3 names are. But if you told me to point out which one was which, I'd have trouble.
So LB's basically doing the Latvian version of the Fulda Gap.
Yep.
And the same thing. Just be there in case the Russians try something.
I mean, they're already trying something. Just if they
Not
try something
exactly
outside
there.
of Ukraine.
Yeah. You know, just
Yeah,
nice
if you
cool
ever,
part of the
want
world.
to read up on people that basically knew that if shit went down, they were SOL. Anybody that manned the Fulda Gap during the Cold War. Because the NATO strategy basically was trade them for time and then just nuke the fuck out of the Russians.
I'm hoping that's not the plan ever.
Yeah,
I
we're in the
really
day
hope
and
that
age
is
where
never the plan going forward for any country. It's
That
just
nuke the
was
fuck
the
out of-
NATO Cold War plan if the
right.
Soviets ever came through the Fulda Gap in Germany.
Oh, and modern military strategy recognizes that once the bottle is opened on nuclear weapons, like it's just tit for tat at immediate escalation path.
Let's be real. Honestly, if the Russians tried to come into Poland, it'd probably make the Highway of Death and Gulf War I look like a minor traffic collision.
Yeah, it'd be gnarly.
Poland is chomping at the bit.
Oh, they are. They're
They're
hungry. Like they're
I
thirsty.
fucking dare you.
And there's German tanks in Poland now too, with probably some people that are like, "Hey, we could do Barbarossa 2.0." Except this time, take Moscow before winter.
But you gotta divert to a different city because it's the name of the boss.
The thing that that is trickier though. The first nukes that would be deployed would most likely be strategic, like small battlefield nukes.
I hope those don't ever get used either, because like
That-
the second you use one of those, that opens a door that you probably
It
don't want
does.
opened.
and a lot of theorists think that like that is the most likely way that the escalation path begins.
Yep, especially if NATO punches through the Russian initial lines and breaks out into the open.
And that's exactly the situation where Russian military doctrine calls for nukes.
We should divert to Eve though, instead of like potential nuclear Armageddon in the real
We're
life.
talking war theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
War theory.
So I was.
There's only one good Armageddon, and that's a Bruce Willis movie.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I'm all for using them on asteroids. I think we can all get
I
behind
mean,
that.
it's a good movie. It's like everybody around the world comes together to save the world from a catastrophe.
Minor update just for those of us going to FanFest on the volcano situation. I've been checking every day what the seismometers are saying in that part of the island, and it's actually started quieting down during the last like 6 hours where it had been pretty steady. But magma inflow into the area underground and the main magma chambers continued on, and they've had like over 2 weeks straight of just constant earthquakes. At times, like able to be felt subtly in Reykjavik, even. So
I'm more worried about the COVID that's going around Iceland at the moment, to be honest.
I hadn't looked at the volcano. I've been more tracking just out of like being interested in the possibility of seeing an eruption in some way. I've had 15 formal, like official confirmed COVID exposures, and I haven't gotten it yet, and I'm vaccinated, so I'm not. I don't worry about COVID anymore. Like
I was
And I
vaccinated
know.
last time, man, and that was bad. That was so bad.
I've literally been in a car for 45 minutes with someone who tested positive the next day and got sick, and I never got symptoms, and I've had multiple exposure situations similar to that. So just I don't know if I'm in the small minority that just is fucking lucky or what. I don't know.
I repped my shots for COVID and flu last month, so I always wait till like a couple months before, and then I'm like, all right, this is like the optimal time to probably make it the most effective by the time I go.
That's a good point. I should get my COVID booster before going to FanFest.
It's probably a good idea. Let's see, what else do we have? There was a Keepstar died last weekend. Big ass fight too. I wasn't in it.
There was.
There's no kill mail.
The kill mail wasn't there. It hasn't generated, but BWF Tech, but ZZ top, lost. I don't know the group. You said it was like a Russian group. I'm assuming they're probably part of the frat. Are they part of Winterco?
No, it's a Russian NPSI group.
Okay. And they were just allowed to put a keep there then? Because like, isn't that frat space?
No, they weren't allowed. That was the whole thing. Was they dropped a hostile keep to spawn a fight.
Okay. Yeah. It was a big fight. It was like a bunch of people. Because I'm wondering if like was it like 4 different parties? Because if this was a group that wasn't affiliated with any of the major blocks, but Horde PanFam showed up, Frat showed up, and it showed up, Goons showed up, and so it turned on to this big massive brawl.
PanFam showed up because it was
like were all 4 of them wanting to kill the keep, or were they all just like, oh, there's a keep fight? Well, we'll go dunk on this shit too.
Well, it was put down in PanFam space, right?
Is it? It's
yes,
BWF.
BWF is Horde space.
Okay,
yeah, that's what I thought. So like that so like I think what happened is this rando group, essentially like Small Fries group, does this as a content Keepstar, and then PanFam goes, you can't do this in our space, fuck off. It comes to bring the hammer down, and then the other parties are like, ooh, fight opportunity, and then they just came in third party effectively.
Yeah. But yeah, it looked like Titans and Supers were on field. Looked pretty massive. Looked like a slogging tie-dye fest that, I was like, oh man, that would have been fun. But then in hindsight, I'm like, would it? Would it have?
No.
I mean, it'd be It's look at fights like that as an opportunity to play Eve while also doing your dishes and your laundry.
I feel like those they're not fun to be in, but after the fact, you're like, cool, that was a really cool thing that happened. So like the effects of it are the fun part, not the actual in the thick of it at the time, because it's pretty miserable in those fights.
Some of my favorite screenshots I've seen though have been from the big fights.
Yeah, no, I mean they're
I
awesome.
mean-
I like that they happen, but it's kind of one of those like you start locking something and then you like the locking thing will actually not progress that slowly, but once it gets to the point where it's going to finish lock and it gets that blinking thing, it usually blinks a couple times and then it locks. That is you're looking at possibly like anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes to go through, and then you're like, I'm going to activate my gun. I'll come back in 20 minutes and hope that the button press got registered, and then your gun is either cycled or it hasn't, and then you push it again. I don't know. It's not exciting gameplay.
That's why doing it in Titans, like in M2 Tech, was fun because it's everything normally is slow anyway. So it's okay, it's going to take 10 minutes for your gun to activate. Once you fire your DD, it's going to take an hour to cycle. So it's just, you got it on one monitor, you get your other monitor, you just watch YouTube, whatever.
Yeah, but also my computer is old and slow, so it's not just the tie-dye that's in my computer. Like my computer, like the CPU and probably the RAM chunks hard, and so it's not just tie-dye. I'm like in there at like 1 FPS, if that. Hope and like so it's just like like it just looks awful, and
I've temporarily
That
changed my
sounds
camera
like
to being the cat cam.
that sounds like someone needs to upgrade their computer.
I do. I was supposed to do that this year, but I got convinced to go to FanFest instead. So next year, I'm gonna hold by it. I'm not doing any meetups next year. I'm buying a new computer. So
Also,
I mean,
notice
since
the
we
cat
do,
tax.
since we yeah, cat tax. There's a cat tax going on. Like we did do the drive for donations to send LB to FanFest. We could also do drives to fund our primary streamers goodies that actually power the
Mhm.
stream. That way Drayden could
well,
also
no, that's
stream
what
Eve
that's
while
why I was able to go
playing
to
Eve.
that's why I was able to go to FanFest this year, is because I used the money
But
this time.
what
So last
well
year was send LB to FanFest. This time it was send me to FanFest.
well and what I'm saying is next year is get Drayden new hardware so that
Oh,
Drayden can stream Eve while also playing Eve.
yeah. Well, my tax return will cover a new computer, but that's usually what I use to go on the vacations with. So
So what you're saying then is we could do a drive to send you to Null or something else next year.
yeah, well, I'll have to see.
I'm
Also, would like
thinking
to spend a
NOLA.
year paying off some credit card debt as well. So
That's fair. Next year is going to be less travel for me. Like I'm going to do less big trips. I think the only Eve meetup I'll do in 2026 will probably be NOLA.
yeah, if they
I'm
do a
still in
Seattle thing
retirement.
next year, I'll probably go to that again. But that's probably about it. But
Although I do want to do the DC meetup one of these years, but I only want to do it if I know someone else I know and I'm friends with is doing it. I don't want to go with just the random page people because I don't know many
I think
in
Delana
that
usually
crowd.
goes, and if it's in DC next year, I may go
Okay.
because DC's easy for me to get to. There's cheap flights, and I have decent hotel spots. Actually, it's funny. I went with a couple of the Void Bros
See,
for
never
New
can-
Year's, and we
I
had a lot
mean,
of fun.
honestly, if you were coming as well, what I would because my plan for the DC meetup, because I've tried to go before and it just didn't work out. But my hotel discount is cheaper, and I can get 2 rooms with the employee discount. So we could just partner up, and I can book us both rooms under my rate at the same hotel.
If it's this hotel that the family and friends discount is at, that's actually not that convenient for DC proper because it's in Virginia, and most of the stuff that happens is in DC proper, and the metro only runs till midnight. I've learned that the hard way.
There's multiple hotels that like the one that I had looked at, or several of the ones I had looked at before were in DC proper, like
Yeah,
close
last
to
time
where.
I looked,
We'll talk about that later once it comes closer, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, like
Uh,
I'm not set on even doing Vegas this year. I'm just waiting until the NFL schedule comes out because I'm basically I know I'm a huge Cowboys fan. I want to go to one of their games sometime, and I know they're playing at Vegas this year. So I'm really got my fingers crossed to the NFL schedule gods that they schedule that game the Sunday of Eve Vegas. If it is, I definitely will go. But
I'm
I won't do anything Sunday because I'll be at the game.
I'm kind of at the points currently with Vegas where I would happily go if more of my friends were going, but it seems like less and less of my friends generally go to it, so I care less about Vegas.
I've done the Vegas thing so many times that my mindset now is like if there's meetups anywhere else, I would rather go somewhere that I haven't been to like 10 times.
Which is fair.
Well, like for me, the fact that I was able to do Iceland cheap this year makes it more practical to do other stuff because like last year with there being no fan fest, I spent money a pretty good chunk of change to do a once in a lifetime trip to go to an F1 race in the UK and UK for a week. And doing Iceland for FanFest is like a quarter the budget of that. So it's like, okay, I've got money available. I could do Seattle. I'm pretty well set I'm going to do Seattle. Waiting to find out NFL wise for Vegas. Kind of same if I want to do DC at here.
Those pictures are absolutely adorable, and I want to steal the first one. I guess show notes. Timber posted some cat pictures and pinged me,
Huh.
and I want the first one.
MER came out. Anyone?
Did big number go up? I didn't look at it.
There's one number go up that hold on, let me.
Any bad number go down?
I'm curious about
The
this because
market
I'm not
price
into the
went
mining
down.
scene. Let me post the MER.
They give a nice summary at the beginning.
Catch you guys later. I gotta go do some work.
See Timber.
See ya.
See you, Timber.
See, man.
So I scrolled down like it's like 3 pictures, but asteroid ore volume mined over time. There's a massive spike in the last like couple weeks.
Yes, because CCP has made some good changes.
Changes.
That's Aerosmith, right?
I don't think so, is it?
That was a David Bowie song, wasn't it?
Could be Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie. Production is stabilized. So, marked increase in mining, especially in nullsec. Bounty Faucet saw a dip in March while market tax sinks have increased. Does that mean more market activity if the market tax sinks have increased?
I think so.
No, because no. CCP increased the tax. There had been tax relief that had been in place for a while. Is back a couple years back, CCP had jacked up tax rates, and then I want to say like 2 years ago, they gave us like tax relief, or maybe it was even a year and a half ago, and then now they jacked after like in the same update where they changed mining, they upped the market tax.
Oh, boo. Taxation is theft.
And it's like, I'd have to go back and double check the launch or the patch notes, so like don't hold me to this, but I want to say it's like 6%. Like it's not a small amount. Like yeah, it was a sizable change.
What's CCP going to do next? Introduce market tariffs?
Leave that for the players.
Actually, that would be very interesting if they did it from like a marketing perspective, where the NPC tax, they added a tariff where depending on where you produce the item, whether you had to pay more in taxes when selling it.
It would depend on where it came from and being sold. I would rather them
It could
not
be a
put
way to make
tariffs in.
it could be a way to make them make standings matter.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, that's something you could do. Or if you don't have higher standings, give you better rates at a Keep Star or something, or at a Citadel Market.
Well, that was the whole thing for the TTT because it cut out all the NPC tax.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about production penalty. I think it'd be more like what Skyhook was talking about, like standings. Like, if you have a free port, someone with blue standings to you doesn't pay, pays less, and then someone with like neutral or
And most of the
neutral
high
standings.
value items, like getting traded in Jita, like or high value, high volume items like Plex, skill injectors, all of that.
I would rather them
That's-
just not, though. I
that-
mean, like
That stuff still isn't going through Jita. That stuff is still going through stations and perimeter.
there's enough tariff shit going on. I would rather not bring that shit into the game than.
We can move on from tariffs.
Yeah, I was like, man,
90
us as
90-day
Americans
pause
need
on
to
our-
stop. We need to get off this tariff shit.
90-day
God.
pause on tariff discussions on open comms.
90-day pause.
Hey, at least there was a topical discussion on tariffs.
We're gonna
in
see the
relation to
market-
the video game EVE Online.
You see the market go up now?
Num go up.
Howdy, howdy.
What's up, Millet?
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I don't know. I don't do much marketing. I just I shoot rats and shoot spaceships. Pew pew.
I don't do marketing. I have a soul.
I just don't have the.
I hate marketing because they make me have to touch Adobe products.
I just don't have the interest or the care. I'm one of those people like I'm gonna sell to the buy orders and buy from the sell orders because that's easier.
Skyhawk, that just made me think of your personal hell. You have to do marketing and you're only allowed to use fully licensed Adobe products.
You know, I've had a different special hell the last 2 days at work, which has been frustrating and also funny. I cannot get into our ticketing system, which is also the same system we use for remote management and remoting into devices and for alerts. It's great. And I work a solo shift tomorrow.
Do you guys
Uh-oh.
use Manage Engine or do y'all use Snow?
We use Gorello. If you're curious what that is,
Gorello
just
glue.
go to Gorello.io, and that's the service that we are using currently. They're technically in beta. Yeah, that's a conversation that you would maybe be interested in hearing about, but we don't need to go into it on the show because it's kind of more technical.
RMM and PSA tools. Oh joy.
hmm And I can't get in. It just says error in booting application when I try to get into it on every single platform in OS I've tried it on. And my sysadmin was not taking it seriously until it happened to our telco manager too. And then he was like, "Oh, well, I think I fixed it." And that was at like 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, I had a call today for an entire data center where nobody could get on the wireless. And we fixed the problem, but we can't do a permanent fix because it requires somebody on site fixing patching. And of course, it's in fucking Europe and it's after 17:30 local time. And nobody's going to do jack shit until noon on Monday.
I basically used it as an opportunity just to tell the other two help desk techs I was working with. I was like, well, okay, this is what you need to do and say. This is what you need to do and say. And I just basically micromanage them, and that because they're newer, and yeah, I just was like, all right, you do the thing, and I'll tell you what you need to do to fix this and make this go fast. Since I was effectively useless and blind.
Yeah, I got a new work computer, and they decided to use Microsoft Intune for doing for device management, and it broke our VPN software.
Mm.
And fortunately, though, because I'm on a team of 20, I could message our sysadmin and be like, "Hey, I'm getting this error. We need to take care of this today because I have customers asking me to do shit."
There's less
And-
than that number of people. The size of our IT department is less than the size of your team.
Damn. But see, here's the thing. I really like where I work at because everybody's responsive and has a team first attitude. Like I can ask our server guy a question and get a response instantly or within 5 minutes, or hey, I'm busy. I will get back to you when I have time.
There's a lot of
And I do the same for everybody else for network. They ask me a network question. I either respond to it as fast as I can, or if I'm busy, say, "Hey, I'm busy. I'll get back to you as soon as I can."
our CIO protects our department and our team very in a ton of different ways. But like one example I'll give, company policy is 4 days of bereavement pay if an immediate family member passes away. And that actually happened with one of our network engineers. His dad passed away unexpectedly last year. And HR stopped by, expressed their condolences, did the usual thing the company does. And then the head of HR was like, just make sure he knows he gets his full like 4 days off paid and everything. Like, don't just need to worry about work during that. And the CIO, after the guy from HR left, was like, no, like you get as much time as you need and don't worry about what HR says. And basically the whole department just covered for him as long as he needed to be out.
Yeah, we did that with our networking team when one of our engineers had to take time off because he had a baby or his wife had a baby.
Yeah.
And
Like
so,
we flex around essentially and cover each other's asses.
oh, that's how we do it too. Like before, we kind of knew when it was happening. So, like the week before, we basically took our entire customer list and basically between everybody on the network engineering team, we went, okay, this person is primary for this customer, secondary, tertiary. And we basically kind of split everybody up of primary, secondary, tertiary for all our customers. So, anything that guy would have dealt with when he was at work, we had a backup plan and we sent it to management. It's like, hey, while he's out, if you have anything that comes up for these customers, go in this list to reach out to whichever engineer can best help that customer.
One of the ways that our CIO has put it that I really like is and it really resonates with me and I think is just a good life lesson for like a healthy work and life balance and also healthy work life video game balance. Don't work the clock, work the job. What that means is, like there might be some weeks where there's less going on and you're not pulling necessarily a full 40, but then there's other weeks, like for us, typically it's right around when a new hotel property is opening up. Those last couple weeks before it finally opens, we're busier and some of our team is pulling more than 40 hours a week. But then there's other times of the year where like people just kind of can fuck off for an extra amount of time because there's not much going on.
Oh.
And that's fine.
My job's like that too. Like there's weeks where I'll pull 50 hours just depending on what installs need to be done, especially when it's in Europe or APAC and they need support after hours. And also there's times where it's like just slow and we don't have to, like how our company works. It's very much what our boss cares about is it's very project oriented. As long as you're charging a good enough amount of hours that you're working and the customers are happy, that's what matters.
Yeah.
Like if you only charge 30 hours in a week because that's how much your projects are, okay. But now if you go 4 or 5 weeks and you're only charging 30 hours, they may say, let's look at this.
So to pump the brakes and take a hard drifting turn, Drayden, what's going on with these graphs you're showing us?
I'm browsing. I don't know.
Dang! I tried to segue us back into Eve.
I was gonna wait till the next thought was done. I was like, we've done a hard right into work discussions.
And that's why I'm like, we're gonna drift around this corner, and Drayden's gonna bring us right into.
I'm just checking out some stuff. I mean, a lot of it's It's like, all right, that's a high number. I don't know what it compares to other months because, like I said, I don't really do any industry stuff. But this
what's-
is
So, all right, read for me because it's fucking tiny ass text that I
I
can't see
know,
on my
it's
screen.
trying to.
So what
supposed to be
is
like
the top line numbers for faucets, sinks, and activist delta?
That's
So what-
bounty prizes. So I mean,
what's the top line dollar though? What's the totals for each?
46 trillion.
For which region? What region?
That's all of Eve.
Wait.
Total Eve. 6 billion or 46 billion or 46 trillion bounties from rats this month or last month.
Wait, okay. Now I can. So what I was talking about was up on your screen right now. So the total faucets this month, we had an additional of 167.9 trillion in faucets come
you're
into the
looking at
game.
Okay, sorry. You said the
Yeah.
top number. I thought you meant the top line up
Top-
there. The bounty prize. Okay,
No,
yeah.
I sorry. Top line means like the total for
Yeah.
the thing. 125.9 trillion in sinks, and then minus 20.6 trillion in the activist delta. That is a slightly that's around average actually, I think, for activist delta, aside from the last few months where the activist delta has been higher than average, which I think is a good sign. That means there's potentially less inactive characters taking ISK out of the game. It's a very rough metric to use.
Activist.
The activist
I was
delta
wondering, it's like,
is
how do they get
a
negative 20 trillion when, if you look at the faucets to sinks, it's about 40 trillion in the positive. But
yeah
Or you may have people that get banned.
yeah,
well, no, the net difference actually is 21.3 trillion additional ISK came into the game in March. Because if you look at the very top number there, the BOM, that's the total ISK in the game at the beginning of the month. And at the bottom is the total ISK in the game at the end of the month. And the difference is 21.3 trillion.
right.
So there's 21.3 trillion more ISKs in the game at the end of March versus the beginning.
Right, but that's taking into account removing accounts and freezing ISKs for bots or whatever as well. But
It's
because
people going inactive, yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at like how much ISK was spent and lost through just actual spending on taxes, stuff like that, insurance that doesn't pay out, things like that. Versus the faucets, it's actually positive. But
there's two takeaways on the screen for me. One, the activist delta is less ISK leaving the game than the last few months have been in general. And number two, there's more ISK in the game at the end of the month than there was at the beginning of the month, which has not been the case every month lately.
Would you say that's partly because there's no real major war happening right now?
I mean, war is part of it, but
war doesn't
we haven't we haven't had a major war in the last like year, really. And I know it goes back further than that, but like just trying to compare economically, like month to month, war just basically doesn't factor in right now because it hasn't happened in so long.
Well, also war doesn't, ships blowing up in a war, that doesn't remove ISK from the game. Like when a ship blows up, that ISK isn't gone.
It generates economic activity, and some of that economic activity can pull ISK out of the game.
Right. It can also, if it causes people to like, oh, I don't want to play because we're losing, or if people get burnt out from the war, then you have less people actively making ISK, which can reduce faucets. But I feel like war.
There was someone that made this quote about war that definitely seems true, especially at Eve, and that's war is always about economics. And you know who said that? Karl Marx.
It largely is.
Can be.
Economics.
Well, Hayek would probably argue against that.
I would. It's multifaceted. Well, I would say even in Eve as well as the real world, it's economics and security, both of which can be intertwined.
Maybe. I've never been one to pull the trigger on a war in the game, so I don't know. It's like they always rally the people with like, we're gonna go get rid of these guys, but it's like, is the ulterior motive like we want these moons? Or
I've never been part of the decision making for going to war. I've been part of the decision making for disbanding an enemy alliance, though, via spy methods. That's much more fun, in my opinion, by the way, even if other people think it's dirty. I don't care.
I mean, it's part of the game.
It is. And that's
Remind
my
me not to
stand.
play Among Us with you.
That was honestly one of my favorite days. This happened back when I was working third shift lad, and I was still like down in Pravi fighting with TRC and Wrecking Crew. TRC formed as a spinoff from an old Pravi block alliance called Care Factor. And we held a long-term grudge against them because when we left them, they fucked us over in every way they possibly could. So I held I'm the type of person that if I feel like you've harmed me, I won't forget that. And if I get an opportunity down the road to harm you back in the video game, I happily will. And I had that opportunity come up. Basically, we'd been in a long back and forth with Krabi Block and finally had an opportunity where a former member of Care Factor had gone to Pandemic Legion, then come back and like saw the current state of Care Factor, reached out to us and went, "Hey, I think I can go and talk to them and get them to let me in. Would you want me to do that? And if that happened, would you want to buy their structures and flip their space?" And my response was, "If you can do it, do it." And not even 2 weeks later, I get home from work at like 7 in the morning. It was essentially my Friday night. So I started having a couple drinks. And then a little after downtime was over, I get a message saying, "Hey, by the time you read this, their saw will be self-destructed." And we had to coordinate pretty quickly to like go and seize all 9 of their systems. And we ended up grabbing 7 out of their 9 initially, and holding them. But in the whole process of that, I got to drunk drop a Titan because Pravi Block, I think it was Coalition Hispania, had put a fax in Tosising one of the an iHub, a new one in one of the systems that had dropped from Care Factor. And that was the nut we had to crack to take that system. And I remember Rocket X on comms being like, "Does someone have a Nano Titan? Anyone have a Nano Titan?" And I was like, "Ooh," even though I'm very much so drunk at this point. So it was my Friday night. I was like, "Ooh, I've got a Nano Leviathan," because those, while rare, are a thing. And I dropped my Nano Levy and did the thing. It was fun.
Yeah, apparently
I've got
Gina was on the
some-
receiving end of that shenanigans. He's like, "Yeah, fuck you for that. Fucking saw bullshit at
Oh.
5 a.m."
I'll say this: I've got love for the Levy because it was my first Titan, but
I'm gonna
same
actually
side.
post.
Okay.
I'm looking this up right now. Let's see. Here we go. So this is I'm outing one of my alts that is actually not obvious, but whatever. But that link in chat is my me drunk dropping during COVID times a Titan, or excuse me, an Apostle with my Titan. And what
okay,
I like,
I'm gonna
what I
ask.
what I like about that kill is it's the only kill where my main has top damage and one of my Titan tunes is on.
I gotta ask, where did that name come from for side check?
So Zephyr Zorl is an old friend of mine that used to play Eve, and when he left the game, he gave his Titan to another friend of his, a mutual friend of ours that played the game and was in my corp. And then like a year or two later, that person left the game and they transferred the character to me with Titan. So that is one of the 2 free Titans that I received in my time playing the game.
Oh, yeah, Gina is
So
on that one.
while I have a lot of Iskies, I fully admit to being gifted 2 Titans in my time playing Eve.
The old stabber. Yeah, now we
And Jita, I know you're on that kill mail. I have to say that morning was truly like one of my most memorable times playing Eve. Like just hearing the sound of hearing Rocket saying like that I can drop my Titan on the grid. Just funny feeling.
I think my
I-
personal favorite Titan drop was when we dropped Deadco in the Deadco War when I was in NC, and Deadco's main FC had been pinging for the very long time that there were no NC supers in Venal, and goons had come up to bail out Deadco. Goons had dropped a staging Fortizar in, I think it was PF TAC, and so there was like 2 or 3 Deadco fleets and a goon fleet to defend it for, I think it was the armor timer. And so we drop Ha avatars and railgun buses on the fort and just slaughter the goon fleet with the avatars, and the rail buses kill or put the fort into a hull. It was the last ride of the avatars before they got nerfed, and it was just so much fun killing an entire goon fleet and a Deadco fleet. Point blank range on 0, mano a mano, maximum big dick energy. We got the supers. We got the big tits. We gotta drop them.
So
up,
Hot
Narcos?
Titan versus
Yo.
what? Subcap?
Mr. Line Red, you're here. You're alive. 13. You're among
I
us.
heard the bullshit called me, bro.
I was wondering about
This
that for a
dude's-
minute.
This dude's talking about dropping Titans on subcap fleets and is proud. Bro, that was part of the problem, man. You ruined it for everybody.
That's
I
what
didn't
made-
drop. I
So
didn't
here's the
drop a
thing.
Titan on a. Oh wait,
He's talking about Vlad.
Let's be real. We probably dropped 10 times as much value of ISK in Titans as those 3 subcap fleets
Yeah.
Yes.
with less than a full sub. And here's the thing.
How many subcap fleets
I'll
do we
broken
have?
record myself. If you want to use a fucking 250 billion ISK asset, it should be able to delete a lot of subcaps.
Well, back then it was like 80 bills, so
That is true. And they were actually, yeah, I think that's about how much I paid for my fully fed avatar in 2018 was 80.
do you think I'm lying? What the fuck? Yeah, no, that's how much they were, bro. So like, yeah, you put a lot of ISK on the field, but comparatively to today, God, it's nothing at all, huh? BTEC
How about
R?
we just roll back all the
BTEC
balance
are
changes to
who?
Yeah, but if you account for
2016?
inflation, you have to account for inflation though.
Why?
Let's just
Because
roll
Video
back all
game.
the
Because
ti- let's
otherwise
roll
you can look
all
back
the
and be like,
time
oh,
changes.
people in the
Let's just
1900s complained about spending $1. What broke bitches? Like $1 was worth a lot more in 1900 than it is now. So you can't really just look back that far back when things didn't have the value that they do. Well, I mean, the
And in
intrinsic
my
value
day-
is still there back then. It is now, but I mean, if you look at the ISK value, you have to account for that because I mean, Titan back then was what 60 billion fully fit.
But here's the thing:
80?
is that Titans didn't
Now they're like
change
200.
price because of inflation. They changed price because of changes to them
Right.
and how they were made.
But regardless
Like,
of
that's
how
not
they're made and stuff,
inflationary.
but
That's
their
bullshit,
stat line is the
Jeremy.
same though. I mean, it's minus the Haw thing, but it's like they're still the same ship. So regardless that they cost now more to make, but the thing is like they're the
And they're
same
not
ship
the
now
same
as they
ship.
were back then, and so
They're not. In fact, they're much
actually-
worse of a ship than they were back then.
because you had Haws back then, but
Let's
you
just-
didn't
let's
have the
just
boson. I don't know if people use
Well,
that.
sir-
anymore.
The bows
Surgical-
got fucking nerf. We should just,
Surgical strike? Hello?
all we
come
need
on.
to do is roll back all the Titan and all the super carrier and all the normal carrier changes back to 2016. Oh, and for
Gross.
Rorquals,
Yeah.
give carriers the conduit
Oh,
jump,
that's
and
true,
things will be
Dragunov.
good in Eve.
Yeah, Dragunov has a point too. Like there's faxes now, and Titans get reduced DHP. That's true. They're not the same ship. Don't.
Titans never were fucking broken. It was fun.
Also, the not just faxes, but also well now the faxes have that nerf, the stacking penalty for reps and stuff.
What happened to fucking things like, oh, you got killed by a Titan. Why don't you bring out a 50-man Kiki fleet and kill the Titan back?
Can 50
it's
Kikis kill a
never-
Titan anymore?
Even in 2016,
never-
a 50 or 100
never
man
how
Kiki
that
fleet
worked.
solo could kill a solo Titan without support.
Okay, but that
Well,
Titan's
there
gonna
weren't-
probably
not the
have
WTF
support
when-
somewhere.
There
Titans were
weren't,
not the
there weren't
WTF win mode
Kikis in
everybody thinks
2016,
so.
first off.
Kiki's
realize
totally
that,
were a thing
right?
in 2016.
Kikimuras were a thing in 2016.
No, they're not that old.
Are you high?
They're like
2018, my bad.
2020.
I'm
something.
high.
2018.
No, not even
Like
2018.
they were like COVID era, weren't they?
The Triglavian
Yes.
Collective were introduced in 2018.
Oh,
Yeah, so
But
that's why
not-
that's why I said 2018. I corrected myself.
Good lord.
Dude, I'm old.
You are.
When
in
I'm sitting there
fact.
like thinking like this ship, that ship's new, and I'm like, it's like 8 years old. It's like,
Make super capitals great again.
holy
Or
shit.
what?
Look, I need to get a little red hat. It says MSGA. Make super capitals great again.
I made one that says make nullsec great again.
Yeah.
I mean, CCP has done some good changes towards making nullsec better with
Which ones?
the mining buffs they came out with.
Oh, lol.
Friends, especially Jita in chat, just because we were talking about this before, and I went digging for it on Reddit. That is the original Reddit post from the day that all of that went down and we had shouted Care Factor.
The day the
was
music
fun.
died.
Yeah. Oh, Gina, I have a shirt that says that. I remember back in the day, Dirk made some shirts for E Vegas. I think it was 2016's E Vegas or something, or maybe. Yeah, I think so.
By the
It
way,
was the whole
Redline-
Trump's first MAGA thing. So he made MAGA. It was
What?
like make Eve great again. It was like a Megathron with like red, white, and blue on it.
What is
That's
up,
pretty
my
awesome.
dude?
I would love to get one of those hats.
What did you have for dinner that took 2.5 hours?
It didn't take 2.5 hours. You
Okay, fine, an
psychopath.
hour and a half. Okay,
It
fine,
didn't
an hour
take
and a
an hour
half.
and a
man.
half.
See if I can
The
find it.
Lies and
dinner,
blasphemy.
the dinner was Buffalo Wild Wings. I enjoyed it with
Ooh.
Mrs. Redline, who, frankly, is better company. No offense.
I mean,
But
you know, as someone who has met Mrs. Redline twice, I
you
can
understand.
confirm. I can confirm.
You can vouch for this. Anyways, we watched
I mean,
the
I won't
last-
vouch in public. Oh shit, we're in public.
We
Fuck.
watched the last episode of Yellowstone, of the first season of Yellowstone.
I was going to start watching that, and then I started watching Deep Space Nine, and now I'm sucked in.
Such a good show, dude.
I've been watching
Anyways.
I've seen the first episode of the new Daredevil show, and that's pretty good.
Jay's
I
talking
should
about the
watch that.
spaceship game.
I
again?
am so excited. Okay, so sorry. Uno momento, por favor.
Sure,
But
of course.
I know we will be in Iceland when the movie drops. But as soon as I get back in the States, I'm hurrying my little booty over to the movie theater, and I'm gonna go see Thunderbolts. If you have not seen the latest trailer, it looks dope as fuck.
Chicken jockey.
It's giving very similar vibes to like back in the Captain America Winter Soldier era, which I feel like was pretty close to peak Marvel.
I think Avengers.
You know
Endgame
what
was
they
peak
what
Marvel,
Marvel needs to go with
then
Captain
downhill from
America.
there.
They need Team America.
No, stop
American. Oh God, Drayden. Oh, it hurts my eyeballs.
That
Damn,
was
look at those graphs.
yeah, that was fuck, that was a long time ago.
Hot
Team
minute
America
and-
was a great movie, but they would get canceled so fast for if they made that today.
Not necessarily.
You know the thing about cancel culture is that it doesn't matter unless you let it matter. So like, I don't think that anyone would care.
Well, yeah,
Because
like
they
I
still
mean,
make some pretty crazy stuff. And like, sure, people are mad about it, but like, who gives a shit? Just get over it.
if I
how it
listen
goes.
to gay cancel culture, I would
Hey,
never
Ronnie.
have bought Hogwarts Legends. Whereas, even though I think J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit, and I will not say anything positive about her, I also won't let that fact ruin a piece of media that I love from my childhood or video game adaptations about it.
Yeah.
Liking
Good
a
for
thing an
you,
artist,
standing
like
your ground.
liking a thing an artist
I stole
create,
the video game.
liking a thing and acknowledging that you enjoy a thing an artist creates is not an endorsement of that artist's political beliefs.
Isn't that the same with Dave Chappelle? Like Dave Chappelle made some jokes that were some people thought were anti-trans, but people still love him anyway because he's really funny.
Oh,
I don't know specifics there, so I'm not going to wait.
I can't really wait.
I know a lot just because of the specifics with J.K. Rowling and things she said about trans people and the noise about that within the LGBT community. I'm very intimately familiar with that. I'm not familiar with what's happened with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I think Dave Chappelle, it wasn't that he outright took a position. It was just some of his jokes offended certain subsets of the LGBT community.
Well, and I mean, I'm at risk of going deep into the weeds on this, so please course correct me if we need to be course corrected. But like, essentially, the issue with J.K. Rowling,
When can we course correct you? Could we
Any-
have already done so? Because we should have done so several
You
minutes
can-
ago, frankly. So if we're allowed to course correct you, you're being course corrected right now.
well,
as a
then
matter of fact.
fucking seize the oars and turn this ship around, bitch.
Beautiful. Have you guys talked about all the big fucking spaceship fights?
Yeah, we did, motherfucker. Where you been?
I told you I was eating dinner.
Eating chicken wings.
Okay,
Jesus
but
Christ,
well,
don't you
all right,
listen?
So,
all right,
Red
all right.
Lines.
No, I have a burning question. I need to ask Redline. Literally a
Oh,
burning
great.
question. What was
Amazing.
the spiciest wing flavor that you ordered from B-Dubs?
Mango habanero.
Respect,
I'm
respect,
gonna
sir.
regret. That's the only.
On a 1
The
to 10
only
spicy.
no. The only R word that I know right now is regret. Okay, and I'm gonna know it intimately in the morning. All right.
It's okay.
But it wasn't worth it. It wasn't. It never is. Like they're so
No,
hot.
it's so.
Ugh.
Oh no! So dinner for me. I also had some mango habanero tonight. So for me though,
Incredible.
I threw a couple of chicken strips into the air fryer, and then I made 3 homemade crispy chicken snack wraps with some cheddar cheese, salad mix, and different BW sauces.
I like
I
that
had
really
one
hot
with
stuff. Those are good.
I did one with mango habanero, one with the Nashville hot, and then one with honey barbecue.
I like the really hot
Amazing.
stuff. The mango habanero, like, I don't know, like I don't really like mixing sweet with my hot, so I'm not a fan of the mango in there.
I
know
don't
what I
even
learned?
taste the mango.
Here's something I learned. People don't like spicy spaghetti. Do you know that?
I had spicy spaghetti today.
Some people are wrong.
Red
Spicy
line?
anything is good.
No. Hey,
But
Red
also,
Line.
with
I
my
would
spaghetti,
love spicy spaghetti if you made
I
it for me.
I put brown sugar in my spaghetti. It makes it
It's not
melt in your
spicy.
mouth.
That's not spicy.
It's not.
Surprisingly,
correct.
that's not horrible. I've actually seen it in a lot of good recipes.
No, it's fantastic. It's
When are you
like
Red Line?
I made
all
it the
right,
other day.
when okay, and when are you making it when I can come over? Because I want to try this.
I don't know. Like I can make it in like 15 minutes. It's a really quick dish.
Oh, so what you're saying is we need to arrange a friend date. Got it.
Something I've noticed.
Yeah, probably.
Red
Also,
line.
if you're making like your own
What?
spaghetti sauce, like I'll add like crushed tomatoes,
Fuck
tomato sauce, crushed tomatoes, and then some spices like oregano,
Red Line.
basil,
We need to
garlic.
do.
But
I
like,
will.
you add like a little bit of chicken
Oh,
broth,
God.
just a tiny bit of like chicken broth in there, like a small amount. You don't want it to taste like chicken broth, but it adds a little extra something to the sauce. I think it's pretty good.
For,
Okay,
for-
Vlad said my name first. Hold up, Vlad. What?
You know what the best meal is that
Yes,
I
I
had
do.
today?
Steak. Oh, today. No,
No,
what? Sorry.
unlimited garlic rolls and salad from my local Italian place that is 500 times better than Olive Garden.
What's it called?
I'm not going to say what it is because that docks me.
You're a bitch. All right. Anyways, Skyhawk, what's up?
all right. So, with all due respect, Drayden, but fuck cooking with Drayden. Redline, I will seriously come visit so we can do this. Cooking with Redline and Skyhawk on stream.
Wow, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I'll consider that.
I would do it. I would
Mhm.
do that. I would be there in 0.52 seconds.
I don't know if you would though, like, because is it really entertaining? It's not entertaining to watch me cook. I just turn on music and dance around. Like that's me cooking.
There are
I have
streams
I have a
left.
food question for the room. What
Well,
do you prefer
okay.
pizza wise? Chicago deep dish or New York pizza?
New York pizza.
Papa John's.
What the fuck is New York pizza? I genuinely don't know what it would be.
The Chicago
defined
is, it's
as.
like I like pizza sauce, but I don't want a soup of sauce on top of my pizza. Like the sauce is supposed to be like the thing that's under the cheese. It's not supposed to be like half of the pizza. It's just a big old like where you just we're supposed to eat the pizza with a spoon. The fuck.
Where's the cheese?
So yeah,
That's
I would
not
say
how it
New
works.
York.
It's under the sauce.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
It's weird. That's weird to me. I like Chicago deep dish is fucking weird.
So, Drayden, read just the base. I'm going to put a link into Twitch chat. Just read at this link the basics about like what this type of pizza is. Tell me what you think. This is, by the way, the style of pizza from my hometown. Quad City style pizza.
I swear,
Quad
every time I
City.
hear Quad Cities, all I think of is Quad City DJs and the Space Jam song.
The main difference is really
Yeah.
they put malt into the crust.
So it's a little more filling.
That sounds innovative. I would have to try that.
It's different.
Everybody
Also,
get
it looks
up,
like they put the
it's time
toppings
to
under the cheese, which I
slam
mean that's
now.
fine. I don't really care about that. But
We got a real jam going down. Sorry, someone said Space Jam, dude. I couldn't resist.
yeah, I mean it sounds like it's got some spice because chili flakes and cayenne.
Yep, it's
Cayenne's kinda
typically
basic.
spicier.
I mean that sounds fine to me.
It's
Like, my thing is, like,
I
the
like
only
it.
issue with
It's a
Chicago deep dish is like how much sauce there is. Like, I like
Yes.
pizza sauce, but I don't want it to be 2/3 of what I'm eating. It's supposed to be like a layer that gives a little bit of like the pizza sauce flavor, but it's not. I don't want a soup of sauce. I'm not. Or I would just order a fucking jar of pizza sauce and eat it with a spoon if I wanted that.
I will say also unequivocally, and this is a hill I will die on. I love all of you, and I will fight all of you on this hill at
He's
once
about to
if
say
need be.
pineapple on pizza.
No, pineapple on pizza is fucking heresy. You sit back down, sir.
Hell yeah, brother.
Cutting
Please.
pizza.
Oh, you think that's bad?
The only shape that is appropriate
Fringes
to
on the
cut a
pizza.
slice of pizza is in triangular shaped strips, and the square cuts is bullshit. Fuck that noise. Equal distribution of crust to the rest of the pie is
I'm going to
only
disagree with
achieved.
you on the cuts because
No,
Sicilian
triangle.
is- there are a couple styles where square cuts are okay, and that's Tavern and Sicilian. I'm okay with square cuts there because that's just the style. But pineapple on pizza is just wrong.
It's heresy. Don't diminish the fucking crime of pineapple on pizza by saying it that way. It is heresy. It is an act only engaged in by
Really, dude?
intolerables. It
You
is
feel
not
that
acceptable.
strongly about it?
Skyhawk, have
Yes,
you seen what
motherfucker.
my Discord
Why are you calling me a
profile
motherfucker, dude? I don't
status
understand. What did I
is?
do?
It's because this is
Skyhawk,
a term of
look at
endearment,
my
dear.
Discord profile status.
What?
Look at my Discord profile thing and what the status message is that I
You're
use. for that.
asking me to put in effort while I'm not sober? God damn it.
It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
like for
I don't
years.
I don't
It's so much
disagree.
easier just to tell him what it
It's
is.
pineapple on pizza is haram.
Haram, haram,
It's
Agreed.
haram.
fine.
Agreed.
I don't care. Like I don't like pineapple on pizza, but if people like pineapple on pizza, they can have pineapple on
No,
pizza.
fuck them. I judge
Well,
them.
that's
I
'cause you're a
am
pacifist.
I am one of the biggest preachers of intolerance. However, there are certain things that require intolerance, and pineapple on pizza is one of them.
I don't care what other
The
people
other one
eat,
is
but if
intolerance.
someone's ordering food, like I'm gonna get a pizza, what do you want? They're like, I'm gonna get a Hawaiian. It's like I'm like, oh, what else you got? Because I don't want to eat that. But if someone's like, I got a Hawaiian pizza and they're eating it on their own, I'm like, okay, good for you. I don't care what you eat.
Okay, Drayden, are you a fan of Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah, I like Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, you know what Gordon Ramsay thinks about pineapple on pizza?
I don't care what he thinks about.
It's fucking wrong.
Okay, then he can think that, but I don't. I don't like pineapple on pizza, but I don't care if other people do it. I don't care what other people do with their food.
That actually reminds me, Gordon Ramsay once put out a tweet on April 1st that said, I love being vegan. And there was like so many responses like, hey, we're going to be vegan. It's April Fool's.
Yeah, I like the V. I mean, some of them I think is set up. Like that's obviously set up, but the video of some person that was doing like vegan cooking. They're like, we're gonna make like a vegan dish, and they're like, okay, so we're gonna take some Jello, and people are like, who's gonna tell them?
So I say this with all. I say this with all due respect and sensitivity. If around various topics, if you ever hear me say anything about going vegan, please initiate a wellness check. Put me on suicide watch. Like, tie me down, because if you don't, I will be dead soon.
Unless he
Really?
does it on April 1st.
Also that.
I feel
So
like-
here's my personal opinion: is I am not vegan or vegetarian, but I'm not one of those haters on. I don't hate on people that are vegans or people that are vegetarian, as long as you're not one of the preachy ones. Like preachy vegans, I'll tell them fuck off. Like so, FanFest last year, the Wonders of West Iceland tour, we went to a vegetarian restaurant, and you know what? I had the food, and it was good, even though it was vegetarian. Now it's maybe not my most desirable food, but you know what? I'll eat it.
You
And
wouldn't have gone there by default, but you had the openness to look at the menu and find something that you would like. Oh, like I think I could enjoy that. Let me try it.
Exactly.
Salads are vegetarian.
Well, here's my thing:
mostly?
if I had to go to a vegetarian restaurant, like I lost a bet and I had to go to one, I would try to find an Indian vegetarian restaurant because Indian vegetarian food is really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, like the meat in those dishes are pretty much the only thing that's. Well, no, there's some like korma's made with a yogurt, stuff like that. So it depends.
Oh, yeah, like paneer is vegetarian, but it's made from milk.
Yeah,
So
lentils
it's
and
like-
rice.
Yeah, like Indian food's probably if I was like, okay, you have to go to a place and the only food available is vegetarian, I'd be like, I'd try to find like where a lot of Indian places are because I would almost guarantee that I could survive like a week on Indian vegetarian food.
Yeah, like I'm in the same mindset. Like someone's vegetarian, vegan. Again, I don't care what other people do for their food, but yeah, as long as they don't be like, you have to eat this. I'm like, I don't have to do shit. I'm gonna
So-
eat what I want to eat. You can eat what you want to eat. So
I've decided 3 things so far though about this Iceland trip as far as food. And one of these, I implore all of you, if you ever have the opportunity to meet my mother, don't tell her one of these things. And if you know me, you'll know which one.
Horse or
Do
whale?
not,
I
do
want
not eat the
I
horse.
I
Do not
want
eat the horse.
I will be I want
not
to
eat the
try
horse.
I'd try some
whale,
Do not.
whale,
whale. Do not eat the
puffin,
whale
puffin,
or the
and
puffin
horse.
or the horse.
I'd-
Don't eat any of those things.
I'd try a horse.
I
Nom,
will
nom,
tell
nom.
your mother. I will tell her.
Okay.
I will
are-
tell
are
her
you-
that you ate
Red
them.
line, I will make sure you never meet my mother.
I will
Oh,
meet
thank
her.
you.
I will
You
make
will-
every effort to meet her. If you
She-
eat those things, I will find your mother and I will meet her and I will
Yeah.
tell her.
Red
You're
line, do you
probably
like- do you like
never
lamb
going to
chops,
meet
Red
her
Line?
because I've gotten her down to there's only a 2-month window where she will visit Michigan because both times that I've gotten her to visit Michigan, the weather has been terrible. Or 3 times I've gotten her to visit Michigan, 2 of them the weather's been terrible, and the only time it's good is in the summer. She will not visit Michigan any other time than like June or July.
Have do you like lamb chops, Red Line?
I've never had a lamb chop
No.
before.
Do you
What?
ever,
Fuck!
so, have you ever had
You were
lamb in like
deprived as
Indian
a
food?
child.
What in the
No,
fuck?
you know what's best with lamb chop?
Most people have had
Probably
lamb
horse.
chops, but it's like, and people are like, oh, lamb chops are fine, but don't eat horse. Like,
Hey,
you know, lambs are baby sheep. Like, you're basically they're like slaughtering babies to like make the food, right?
So's veal.
No,
Veal is
too.
baby
I have
calves.
only had veal once. That's not a common
Well, and
thing. But
here, so
lamb is a little more common,
Uh,
especially Indian food
when it
places.
when it comes to horse meat, literally anywhere else in the world where I've looked into like that kind of meat supply, I would not partake other than Iceland. They raise horses for meat in the same way that we would raise cattle for meat because that's what the climate will support. And also, by the way, their horses that are raised for slaughter
That
are
means
treated
nothing to
better
me.
than the way that we treat cows for slaughter. It is
Means
much more
absolutely
humane,
nothing to me, sir.
much. I mean, and I disagree with you because I think it should mean everything.
It's just not a meat that I would want to eat ever.
So does
Ever.
anyone else here remember that TV show Growing Up Lamb Chops Play Along?
Yeah.
No.
When you mentioned that, that's all I could think of was like, and that stupid "This is the song that
I
never
love
ends."
you.
All I can think
Yeah.
about. That's
Yeah,
Barney,
no.
bro. What the fuck?
If you put that song into my head, I
the
swear
song
to
that
God,
never
I'm gonna
ends, I think, is
slap
Lamb
you.
chops play along.
This is the song.
Oh, you're
that
saying the
doesn't
thing I started with, yeah,
end.
that was
Someone
Barney, you're
mute
right.
him.
No, you're right. Yeah, the song never ends. That's lamb chops.
we're all a bunch of millennials that have a shared love and trauma over various 90s kid shows.
Dude, Reading Rainbow was the shit.
Reading Rainbow is a great show. LeVar Burton, I wanted LeVar Burton to be the Jeopardy host instead of Ken Jennings. I loved LeVar Burton when he did the guest hosting. I really wanted him to be the permanent one.
I wanted LeVar Burton to be my dad, dude. What do you mean?
I wanted LeVar Burton to be my daddy.
That's disgusting. He's a respectable man. He would never be involved in such degeneracy.
You never know what any man would be involved in once you involve
Dude,
a
put a hair braid over his eyes with LEDs in it. He might try anything.
Once you got a little sucky involved, man, you never be you would be surprised what quote straight men would do.
I would not be surprised at what quote straight men would do, because I don't care.
We have divulged so thoroughly off the path.
It's open comms. What do you
I don't
expect?
even
We
know
can
if
never
we can
stay on
find our way
topic.
back. What game do we play
I
here?
want to know about.
I blame
your
Redline
thoughts.
and his mental filthiness for just polluting this entire conversation.
Be
He has the
quiet for a
dirtiest.
moment.
Suck my dick for 5 moments. How about
Oh,
that?
listen, I only need 3. Listen,
You're not wrong.
here's the thing. I want to know what you guys think about those big fights, because there were some big ones. There's been some really massive Dread stuff in the last few weeks.
It's been so massive.
How do we
See,
make it
here's the
happen
thing.
more often? What's wrong? What's going on?
Drop more
What's making this happen now, and how do we make it keep happening?
people that
Look,
aren't part of the
as-
No Block
as-
Cool Kids Club trying to drop keep stars in the No Block Cool Kids Club space.
Redline. It's really
What?
simple. As the server and the player base gets older, gets a little bit harder to get it, up for some of
Please
these
do not
larger
make
engagements.
an erectile dysfunction joke. No, but that's the thing.
So does that mean though if you get it up for
so
over 4 hours,
were
you
any
have
of
to
you
see a
guys
doctor?
Yes.
were any of you guys involved in those fights at all, like the Keepstar fight?
No,
For-
we
not
need,
the
we,
really.
need
BWF
to
one,
get,
no.
we need to get like Bear the Cares or Blazing Bunny or some of the Fleet guys on to tell us about those fights, because they've been they've been having some really good fights. Hell, even like Wally Martz, because I know Wally Martz just joined them. He'd be a hoot. Get like one of their FCs on to tell us about them.
Who did
Because
Wally
all I've
Martz
heard is
join?
what I've seen on Reddit. But yes, absolutely. I'd love to get like Bear or Bunny or one of their other guys on here to tell us more.
Well, idiot, I want to know what you think. You're on the show already.
It sounds like they are having a ton of fun.
I think the fun is after the fact. I don't think the fun is during the fights.
Well, but you've been in fights like that before.
I have,
where it's
and they're not fun to be
heavy-
in. They're fun after
heavy
the fact.
tie-dye. So they're not fun
So-
to be in. So
I actually
is it
think
worth
this
it?
is the perfect kind of conversation to introduce the topic of type 1 versus type 2 fun. Type 1
Mhm.
fun is the type of fun where you go into it knowing and expecting to have fun and enjoying it actively. Whereas type 2 fun is the kind of thing where beforehand you're like, I don't know if I really want to do that, but I guess. And then afterwards, after having experienced the thing, you're like, that was fun. That was cool. I'm glad I participated
The
in
end
that.
justifies the
I-
means fun.
Yeah, I think that some of these tie-dye fights, for some people, not everyone, it's not a universal thing, but for some people, it is very much so a type 2 fun kind of thing.
I would say yeah for me on that. I've been in those big fights, and it's kind of one of those, like you're saying, after the fact, like, man, even looking back,
You
like
whip
that
that
was
ass.
awful, but the outcome and the fact that it happened and the scope of everything that was happening, that's the fun part. But actually being in it is not fun, because you're basically just upset because your module isn't cycling, even though you've clicked it 5 times and it's been 15 minutes and you're not sure if that your commands are going through.
Yeah.
And it's like over the course, it's like you're going to be in that fight for, once you get in there, you're like, I'm either going to just DC and come back to a dead ship, or I'm going to be locked into this for 8+ hours. And a lot of times I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that anymore, honestly. It's like I'm down to like play for a few hours, but I don't want to sit down for 8 to 12 or 16 plus hours because I think the BWF keeps our fight started in the morning. And it's like I don't want to
Started
go
at
from
7
8
in the
a.m.
fucking morning.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to go from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And
that shit.
That's why I miss the original ping for Slice for that started like 3 hours after downtime, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll set an alarm for that, wake up for it, and it's fine. I wake up at my scheduled alarm time, check pings, notice the fleet form up time was changed to several hours earlier, literally at downtime. And I was just like, well, I missed it. Fuck everything. I'm going to go do other shit.
Yeah. Now, in some of those big fights, what I have done in the past that made it a little bit better is you go in a subcap and you play as long as you want. And honestly, if you get to a point you're like, ugh, I'm done with this, you can just fucking hit the X on the window and just close out. You'll E-warp off. Maybe you die, maybe you don't. If you do die, who gives a shit? If you're not flying something super expensive, like who cares? Like, oh, I lost a Roke? Cool. I'm not gonna be in here 10 more hours to save my Roke. I will shoot stuff as long as I'm willing to shoot it, and then when the fun wears off, I'm out. FC's probably frown on that because they're like, yo, we need everyone here, but I don't know. I am fine with tie-dye, but there's a difference between like I'm fine with heavy tie-dye, like 20% tie-dye, or like legit 10% tie-dye, not the where it says 10%, but it's like 0.1%. When it gets down to that excruciating, like beyond tie-dye, that's where to me the fun drops off. Like it's fun after the fact of seeing the impact that the fight had, the outcome, and just the story that it happened. Like that's all cool stuff, but the being in it sucks. It does suck.
I agree.
And
the thing is,
like, in them before, and before I was like, oh, it's exciting because you were there and you haven't. But after you've been in like half a dozen of those, you're just like, I'm good. I don't really want to do that.
An important context that I want to add anytime we start to stray into like, what can we do about this sort of thing?
Nothing.
When it comes to the technical like side of what it takes to power these large, like multiple thousands of people like in a fight, CCP as close as is reasonably possible to cutting edge as far as server tech.
Right. It's not something you can just throw hardware at. This is something that
it's literally close to the limits of current technology that is. And when I say current technology in this sense, I'm talking current technology that is viable for a for-profit company. If CCP had endless money to throw at it, could they make the problem go away? Duh. Like, obviously. That's not the situation realistically.
The way that, the only way I can think of that would fix it is splitting up to where, like, there's multiple systems that you need to have combat going in to make a thing happen. They tried that with the nodes for the, what do you call it, the Entosis shit popping up in different systems. That didn't work out. It didn't work out the way that they thought it was going to work out. And also for the big fights, like, yeah, but you're shooting the structure, like that, and you're defending the structure. The fights are in that system, and there isn't really any way to split them off into other systems that I can think of, and that's what you would have to do to get rid of the crippling tie-dye. And also, on top of that, even if you split off other systems, you'd still have to have each of those systems reinforced, like on their own node, because otherwise, if everything's in the same constellation, that one constellation's on one node, that's not going to help at all either. So,
ultimately, the only real way to eliminate tie-dye is hardware for the servers that allows for tie-dye to be eliminated, and that is what is elusive because of the cost.
Well,
there's probably coding things that can be done, but...
Hold on. Hardware alleviates tie-dye to some extent. The other big issue is the code base that can utilize the hardware.
You're not wrong.
And for them to fix the coding to make it work better, they would have to kind of like rebuild it all.
The work that CCP has done on the underlying code base for EVE Online, like, I know it is an undying meme that like if I could pick one meme from EVE Online to like take out back behind the Reddit shed and put out of its misery, it would be the old like POS code and spaghetti code memes, because just bluntly, they're not real anymore.
No, it's not
The
possible.
the entire EVE Online like underlying code base has been updated for Python 3, which means that literally every line of code has been touched and changed and updated. It has been overhauled from top to bottom. It is not the same underlying code base that it used to be. Those ideas and thoughts in the player base need to go away because they are wrong.
Well, no, but it's like the fact that like it needs more multitasking capability. Now, like the brain of the box thing, and then also this thing where they're allowing some of the load to be taken up by the GPU, but that's on your local end, not on their end.
Well, yeah, no, that's
they're
talking about
basically-
slightly
have-
different things than
but-
what I
but-
was talking
hold-
about. But yes,
I have an idea, Skyhawk. How about you don't tell me what to do?
How about you choke on a dick?
Well,
No.
so hold on, wait, hold on. So like, if they had more things like brain in a box, if they had more things that they could send off things to calculate elsewhere and not all in that one server blade, that would help. But I don't know how they do that, I feel like they're working on things like that, but it's
So I talked to, I don't know if it was Chimichanga, but it was one of the CCP product directors. I think it was FanFest 2022 about the underlying code base for Eve. And he essentially said it's in order to, if they were to do a full rewrite to multi-thread the entire system, which would allow it to fully use all the hardware they have. Because even with Python 3, the fundamental issue with Eve is that it's still bottlenecked to one blade per system. They can't spread the load across multiple systems. And to do that rewrite, they would be looking at multiple years, if not 3 to 4 years. And in order to financially fund that, they basically would have to put Eve into straight maintenance mode. And that probably would be the death of Eve. So for
there is
people that
some
say CCP
possibility.
hasn't looked at this, they've at least looked at it and they're trying to do what they can with what they have.
Mm.
And
You
that's
think
why I'm
possibly
hoping that one of the things I have hope for Eve Frontier is they've built that underlying engine to allow the multi-threading and all that to allow it to take advantage of the hardware they have, where it's not crippled by an older design philosophy that limits how much hardware they can use.
Good,
Man, I
Millet.
feel like
I mean,
I'm
currently with
crippled by an
Frontier,
older
it is
design
expanding that way as
philosophy.
well.
Millet, go.
I mean, with the current systems that they're designing and what they're doing in Frontier, I mean, there is capacity for them to continually expand. There is some systems also in Eve, if you actually look carefully around at some of the stuff in Eve, they actually have the potential to expand grids. They have the potential to expand firing ranges. They have the potential to do a lot of stuff, but because of limitations in build, that has begun most of the problems at this moment.
I don't know if expanding the grid
So-
would fix it though, because I mean, even if you expanded the grid, there's still the same number of pilots and calculations that still need to happen, and that's the
What I'm saying is, the code base of the game has potential to expand in certain directions, but yes, as you're saying, and as Vlad is saying, the concept of how there's a architectural issue that is kind of hampering the problem. It's like having a house that's already pre-built, and you can try to adjust some things here and there. Yeah, you can readjust everything in the rooms, but if the hallway is a certain size, you can only put one person at a time through that hallway.
yeah. Well, what if they could somehow split up multiple nodes in the same system? Like this grid is on a node. This grid is on a node, and when you're warping between them, now like it's like you load up the new node, but when you load the grid, and so now you have, so now it's like you can have isolated grids of like this. Everything on this grid is on this server blade, but then this other part of the system, so that way you don't have people that are coming into the system jumping through the Stargate are weighing down the same calculations on the fight that's happening.
That goes back to what
Well,
I mentioned of you would have to fundamentally rebuild the base code for the game. And the tech level that would be required to do that would be sufficiently fine. I think that's part of why, other than Hilmar being a seki for crypto money, is why they did Frontier. I think, and I hope that they can do this, is that Frontier's code base can become the tech baseline for Primary Eve, where they could start to migrate, where they could ultimately migrate the Eve Online client into Frontier. And what I mean by that is not turning Eve into a crypto mode game, but by using the fundamentals that they're building for Frontier that's not burdened by 20 years of legacy code. And what I mean by legacy code is legacy design for hardware, where they could do such things like maybe using virtual machines to where you can take a system, say JITA, and spread JITA's load across 3, 4, 5 virtual blades, or even utilize multiple blades for JITA. You get a fight like BWF, where instead of one big ass blade handling it, and you're having the bottleneck of all your I/O into that blade, your compute for your that's hitting the SQL database, just the CPU itself that's having to run all the calculations. Where instead of having one big ass CPU for BWF, now you can spread it across multiple.
Well, I mean, there's also like the fact, like I've always been kind of curious about certain fights, like when they had the Iram Fanar war. I was hearing some odd reports from players in other areas that were not even associated with that zone of conflict that were suddenly having massive lag and all kinds of other issues. It's like the number of, if I remember correctly, all the materials that they said a couple years ago about what they had upgraded for the servers was that the different blades that they have is that some of the blades have a certain set number of systems on them. And then what happens is that depending on which node a particular battle is on, particularly, then they probably try to shift it. But then from what I've been told is that sometimes that particular blade that's processing it, any of the systems that are supposedly associated with it start lagging out because it's now trying to focus on this one area.
That happened
That
in the
cluster.
BWF fight. The BFL staging system was on the same node as BWF, and it was causing a sense of tie-dye. So yes, that's happened before.
It is like because the current systems over in Frontier appear to have some but the problem is Frontier hasn't really, we haven't yet pushed over a certain percentage of people that would actually, I think, match Eve just yet. But there have been some times where we have crashed the early test servers, but they've been able to reset it, refit it, and make it work okay. So potential is like they're seeing that supposedly they're trying to also expand the universe to see how large they can make it and function on the system, and then you add the players on top of it to see how much complication can be done. And one of the interesting things about it comparatively to Eve is like Eve has a certain rigidly currently enforced system number plus wormhole space, and that's limited and locked in. Now they do add some stuff, but it's like they control how much goes in, because if they do anything like Frontier, all the systems would just collapse. I mean, you barely sneeze at a fight somewhere in the game, and the whole thing would go crack. You know, like we see 1,000 ship fights in some of these areas. Well, if you go Frontier and you tried, and you were to go the amount of systems and Eve Online that Frontier has, Well, if we had like a 50-man, fight somewhere, and we have the current architecture, crack. Unless they
Frontier
had
is also
this whatever
pre-alpha,
percentage. Yeah,
and
too.
that's part of alpha is finding all the bugs, and that's part of what my hope for
Mhm.
Frontier is that they can take some of what they've developed for Frontier for the back end and integrate that into EVE Online, even if that's just
Mhm.
ultimately going to a back end that is Frontier based. But we'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what CCP can develop. I definitely
I mean,
think
what they've done, what I've seen them do is actually pretty impressive. They even have reactive NPCs. Some of the NPCs will actually react to player activity and then become a threat, depending on how much activity the players are in. So that's actually an interesting thought process that we don't see in EVE yet, but would be interesting to see in EVE.
TLDR.
Oh, Rain.
What's up, Rain? TLDR.
The TLDR is Rain needs to get her ass in this fucking channel. God damn it! I miss your face.
TLDR is big, massive tie-dye slog fests aren't fun.
I got a
But
big, massive slog for you
But
right
at the same
here.
time, you can't really. There's really a whole lot CCP can realistically do about it in the current way the game works. So people that cause those fights to happen have to suck it up and deal
It's
with
what
it.
they want you to think.
They gotta suck it up and deal with it, or maybe don't bring so many people.
So I
Well, I
think
mean,
a more I
big
just want
fights, but like the 5,000 person fights where tie-dye is like 30 minutes to activate a module. I don't like those.
I just want to say
what about
though,
strategic
like
fighting?
I want to bounce off of what Drayden was saying, but I want to emphasize it with some stronger language. Just deep throat that shit. Just deep throat it, enjoy it, slobber all over it, and enjoy that content, boys and girls.
so. I have a question. I see water outside. Is it raining?
It's not raining, but boy, is it moist.
Oh, I did a rim shot sound effect for
Is
that.
that LaCroix?
Vlad,
And
do you
if you
think-
ever need a recording for saying the word, just let me know, and I'll help you out.
There's not enough cake for this moist, please.
Oh, trust me, if you
Crocker?
need cake milling, I'll bring the cake.
I almost need like a George Takei oh my for that.
Don't bring yellow cake, please.
I can't
Just
go
don't
anywhere
bring
near
blue
that
cake.
deep for
I
George
have a
Takei.
Billen, if I'm bringing cake, it's twink cake.
I'll make sure I bring
Okay,
my
okay.
small radar meter.
Answer me this, Skyhawk, as from someone that's straight. What is a twink?
So a twink is a skinny, typically white, but not exclusively, but typically white male who is, like I said, skinny and not overly defined with musculature, very low fat and young.
Which is funny because up until I think it was like last year when you mentioned it, and I didn't realize it was because like the only way I've ever heard that term used is in WoW when people are talking about alts that are like low level alts but are like basically maxed out as high as you can get for like they cap it at a certain level for like battlegrounds. Like this is my level 4 like 20 because there's a battlegrounds that are like max level 20 but they have it like super geared out with the best shit you could put on a level 20 type of thing. So it's like the strongest weak person you could have.
And so and so in the gay world, to twist that around a little bit, a twink who is leveled up with some more defined abs and just overall more musculature, maybe taking care of themselves a little bit more extra, that ain't no twink. That's a twonk.
I think you guys have been
But if they
eating
let
too many
themselves go to
Twinkies.
sea, do they become a chunk?
Dude, I'm tweaking. Wow.
I self-identify with that a little too much, so I'm not going to talk about that.
I've only heard chonk for like cats. You see it slightly over 8K.
No.
It's like he's a
I
chunk.
Oh Lord.
I have reached the stage in gay life where I am closer to being associated with the bear, and I have, at risk to self, I have had more than one or two guys refer to me as daddy, and I don't. It's a weird thing that I just got to deal with, and I'll
Sounds
leave it
like
at
you have
that.
daddy issues.
I don't have daddy issues. They do. Okay, they do.
It's not me. It's you.
No, you have issues being called daddy.
I don't. It's not issues. It's just it's an adjustment. Okay.
I mean, it could be. I mean, what about if they call you mommy?
I run the other direction.
Do we have any more
and
East?
and refer them to Rain. Sorry, Rain. By the way, if I come across any guys that are like looking for mommy issues, I'm gonna direct them to you and like be like, "Here you go. Talk to Rain. She got you.
You gonna
I
foist
love you,
that
Rain.
on
Don't
her?
hate me. I will, because I ain't got the bandwidth.
So, Dominic, did you ever get your boat off the sandbar?
He's back to land.
Wait, Dom's here?
Oh,
Dom,
He just fucking joined.
Domaho,
Ah.
you there?
did you have to
Yeah,
get the
can you
drum
hear me
out
now?
and the oars?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. We did. We had to get towed back to the fucking to the pier.
You guys lost your rudder. Was it? It was an orca, wasn't
Why?
it? It was a
All right,
fucking orca.
why did you break that fucking rudder, dude?
Well,
Why?
the guy who was like chasing dolphins, right? Getting dolphins to chase us.
Oh
And then
no.
we ran aground because he got out of channel. He ran aground and broke the rudder. And we were out there. The best part about it was free booze. So guess what I did?
You enjoyed the free
I
booze.
got plenty, he's like, I got plenty of booze. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put you to the fucking test. I'm gonna test you.
That makes me
So,
think of
Dominic, have you done Epcot around the world yet?
We did that 2 days ago. Yeah.
How much money did you end up spending on booze?
Oh well, we had a $500 gift card thing, right? That we did, and we spent it all.
How many people?
2.
Damn, y'all are degenerates. I think when I did it with a friend of mine, we were like $150 per person.
Oh, my wife and I, we spent a lot of money.
Dom's gonna get his money worth. Like, y'all met him. What?
So, Dom,
I don't fucking know when it comes to drinking.
Epcot around the world, what was your favorite country?
Actually, it was the United Kingdom. They had the best beer. Germany was okay.
What did you drink there?
What was that?
What did you drink at the UK booth?
Everything. I don't remember. I don't remember what I had. Beer. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember.
I think
I'm just really drunk right
Did
now.
you
so I
have
don't know.
sake at the Japan booth?
Oh yeah, we did. We did. Yes. There were two different kinds. There was the regular rice sake, and then they had something else there we liked quite a bit.
Yeah, I had no idea sake. I just let my Japanophile friend I was there with order for me.
I've had sake before, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but they had one there that was really tasty. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Oh, wait until he warms one up and he actually has like something like Kobai plum.
Dom,
I
you're
don't
for
remember what it
sure.
was. I think they had hot and cold
Oh,
when I was
I
there.
found some footage of your boat excursion, Dom.
Did you?
I did. I'll put it. Are you have a stream up?
No, I don't have a stream. I'm on my phone.
Oh well, you'll have to.
Dom,
I'll have to
are
check it
you?
out later.
Here's Dom on the boat.
Oh
But,
God.
when I was there with my friend,
I'm sure it's perfect.
Yeah.
that's
So
funny.
Dominic, I have an actual question for you. So
Go ahead.
the meetup in Madison the weekend after FanFest, you're for sure going.
100%. Yep.
You've got like hotel and everything lined up and all the shit.
Yep.
All the
I already
things?
got that.
Where are you staying? Grip.
Did you hear me? I at the
Ability down.
motel. I'm staying at the motel.
Oh no, it cut out there. I wasn't sure where you were staying.
I don't know the name of it. I already got reservations. I can't remember what it's called though.
Okay. Well, we can talk
But-
about that later. I will be there for sure that weekend. I'm
Okay,
crashing
but-
on Kale's couch. So.
Well, that's what you said. Yeah, I already got reservations for that night, so it's gonna be Pukin, myself, Rafe, and Kegden are gonna stay in the same room. So there'll be the four of us.
Okay, sweet. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
It's going to be.
good. I don't know if
It's
Rain's
going to
gonna
be.
go or not, but I'm trying
It's
to get
going to
her
be
to go.
crazy for me because I'm going to do Fan Fest, fly back into Detroit, drive 2.5 hours back home, get in at 11 o'clock at night on late Monday night, work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, get out of work at 3, hit the road by 4, and drive to Madison and get there by like 9 p.m.
On Friday night.
Skyhawk.
Right. Yeah, I'll get to Madison Friday night.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm going like, and the thing is I don't travel in the off season of winter, and I've got a lot of travel, as you know, Vlad, planned for this summer. I'm literally kicking it off with FanFest, and then it's just fucking go time after that.
Yeah, I'm actually flying directly from FanFest to Baltimore for a work trip. So yeah, I have work. I fly back from Iceland, and then I have work stuff, and then I fly home.
For me, it's just constantly all summer long. I'm at work, that I'm gone from work. I'm at work, that I'm gone from work, because late April into May will be FanFest, and then after getting back from FanFest, I'll work for a week, do the Madison visit for a weekend for that meetup, come back to Michigan for a month, then go to Gatlinburg for a couple days, come back here, and just it's all over the place for me this summer.
I want
Nice.
to take a shot.
So I
because
think I
we're
talked my wife into
basically-
going to Seattle, Drayden. So I think we're coming to Seattle.
Hell yeah, dude! Everyone should go to Seattle.
I want to take a shot because we're basically 2 weeks from leaving for FanFest.
Sure. Yeah, Seattle's gonna be
You
fun as fuck.
absolutely should.
Monday will be 2
I'll be right
weeks
back.
from it. And I've already
Rain, you going to Seattle?
communicated with. Yep. I've already communicated with Kale. So basically, all of us that are getting in that morning meet at the airport. I think Drayden, you're one of the ones coming in later, though, right?
Me
Like
and
9
me and
p.m.
Manic are gonna be later.
Yeah,
Him and I are
so-
getting- him and I are
Skyhawk,
getting in at the same
is this
time.
your
So.
first FanFest, Skyhawk?
No, it's not my first. It's my second.
Okay.
But Alex, who's not here tonight, it is going to be his first. But basically, Alex, Kale, myself, and anyone else that is getting there like that morning around the same time, we're going to ride the bus together into the city. Alex is staying at Center Hotel, which is where Rain's staying, which Rain is
Which is where
transferring
I'm
to the
staying too.
Yeah. Rain is transferring to the Airbnb after checking out that day, though. So the plan is for us that are staying in the Airbnb to go to her hotel, stash our stuff in their luggage storage at the hotel, and then later when the Airbnb check-in opens in the afternoon, we'll move our shit down.
Yeah, we'll see who needs to stash where because yeah, I'm staying at the same hotel. I think Manic's staying there too. So
Yeah.
worst case scenario, we have rooms to stash luggage. But I know
no,
the center hotels, if you're staying at a center hotel, they have a secure storage because I had to use that for FanFest 23.
But plan is land at airport, bus to Reykjavik, stash goodies, go to laundromat for breakfast.
I may or may not do that depending on how
You're
tired
going
I
to the
am.
laundromat for breakfast? That sounds weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing too. I was like,
It's also really good. It's what we did last
The
time.
laundromat.
It's a
The
very scientific
laundromat.
institution.
Dude, where else are you gonna get your Tide Pods?
Right?
No,
Drayden
fair.
got it.
Drayden, fair. You're right. No, you're right.
Shit's delicious.
But
I
yeah,
like the ocean breeze.
I will FC you guys to the Center Hotel Plaza.
What time does your flight land?
Right, probably around
Tuesday.
the same time as y'all's. It's like 06:30.
Okay, I land at 0625. You land at 0630 then, and
Oh,
Kale land.
625 as well. It's technically the same time, but
Okay, well, we one of us will land directly behind the other, basically.
we're all going to get into Iceland around 0630. So we'll all get
Yeah.
through baggage claim and immigration probably around the same time because that's when all the U.S. flights, except from the left coast, are coming in.
If you don't see
On
me
Iceland
on
Air.
the so real talk for a moment, if you don't see me on the other side of immigration, it's because they didn't let me through because of the THC cartridges in my carry-on bags.
Why not just buy them?
Why-
Oh, it's probably
good
not legal
idea.
there, is
Don't
it?
bring that shit.
Because in my experience with how they handle things and carry-on, they actually won't notice it or catch it or care.
Would never risk bringing drugs through an airport.
I have flown domestically with it many times and I've also talked to friends of mine that work for TSA. TSA explicitly is not looking for that. They don't care about that. And if you're in a jurisdiction where it's locally legal,
Yeah, they won't care.
TSA does not have local arresting power. So if it's not locally
TSA and
illegal, they can't do anything.
customs are different. Don't
I
fucking
know.
risk it.
So tell me, how many times when you've come through customs coming into Iceland have they checked and actually searched your carry-on bag?
Never. And that's also because I
Thank you.
also don't bring shit through customs that's illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, the simple fact of being illegal is I consider an irrelevant.
It's irrelevant until you get arrested for it.
Yeah.
I mean, although
I tried telling that to the officer. Man, if only I had thought about that when I got arrested for weed. Like, sir, this officer, this is irrelevant.
So what is one of
my bad? Have a nice day.
White middle-aged travelers are probably the least likely to get searched.
yes.
White middle-aged men are least likely.
So take what Vlad just said and add on to the simple fact. One of the last things that almost any nation wants to do, unless they're intentionally adversarial to the U.S., is detain American citizens. So if you violate a local law, their preference generally, unless they want to antagonize the State Department, is to just send you home.
Especially today. Iceland
I
will have like
can't get
80%
into
tariffs. Iceland will have 80% tariffs by Monday.
ICE. We're not talking about ICE. We're not going into politics.
It's like they'll have 80% tariffs by Monday, and like they'll have a waiting group chat invite from Hegseth instantly.
We're not going to talk about U.S. politics because that's
my
not
bad.
going to make people mad.
Well, just
Well,
one
you have
thing.
no fun with your ransom operation.
Just Vlad. One thing that I will add is the White House press secretary this past week talked about the administration floating ideas and ways for Pez for them to export or to deport American citizens to El Salvador and other
I
countries.
do like Pez.
So yeah.
So
Anyway,
Dominark.
guys, go ahead, Vlad.
So at the when you went to the Japan booth at Epcot, did they have any Japanese people that were working there as like exchange students?
Yes, pretty much every country had people from those areas working.
Yeah, when I went there with my buddy that's a Japanophile, there was a guy there had a name tag that said he was from Nagoya. So he asked the guy in English if he could practice his Japanese with the guy, and the guy's like replies in Japanese, "Yeah, sure." So they spend like 5 minutes talking in Japanese, and apparently the Japanese exchange student complimented him on his Japanese.
Oh, nice!
Which I thought was really cool.
I was disappointed that nobody from the Pandora area was from Pandora. That's ridiculous.
No, but here's the funny part. So immediately afterwards, keep in mind, we've been drinking already. I go to the German booth and I just rattle off an order in perfect German. And the lady's like, because she was from the States and didn't speak a lick of German. I'm like, oh, yeah, damn it.
No, I told you 3 different people in the German area, all were German. I was impressed. So it was a good deal.
I'm gonna
call it a night, guys. You guys all have a great time. I'll talk to you next Friday.
Yep, see you, man.
Have a good night, Dom.
Also,
Later
yes, that was a
on.
deliberate derail. But I actually talked to CCP Convict in New Orleans that we should do a CCP sponsored Eve meet at Orlando just to be able to do the pub crawl as Epcot around the world.
Give me CCP NOLA, and I will be happy.
Well, that was one of the things me and Convict talked about was that one big thing, if they want to do CCP official meets other than FanFest, they have to redirect marketing money to it. But they need to do it in a tourist city where there's things that bring people in. So you get cities like Vegas, of course, is a tourist city. Orlando is one because of Disney and Universal. New Orleans is one because of the French Quarter. Hell, even San Diego had some stuff for that.
I'm actually going to bail out for the night, though, friends. Love y'all, and see those of you that'll be at FanFest in a few weeks. Nolan, are you going to FanFest this year?
Nope, I'm stuck here in the stateside.
No. My apologies for you being stuck in the third world country. My condolences. Have a good night.
Oh, right
friends.
now I'm dealing with tornadoes.
Oh.
Hope
Thank
you
you, Lake.
stay safe.
May Bob
Mhm.
bless Lake Michigan for guarding me against most tornadoes.
Oh yeah, that
Speak
one
for
was kind
yourself.
of wild.
I have a trailer park near my house, so I'm fucked.
I think we can send a raid. Unlucky's still going. Send it his way. We don't usually
Well,
get.
I've been doing repair work out there, and I've basically got panoramic photos of 360 damage. Ugh.
Oh yeah, you've been over in the Nashville area. That's right. Did you see
no,
Clarksville
over
got flooded out like crazy earlier this week?
Not that place. I was actually dealing more on the borderland in Mississippi.
Real quick, one sec. I'm gonna send the raid to Mr. Unlucky. He's still going. He normally raid us, but we get to do it the other way. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We'll catch you next week, or actually tomorrow. We usually do our Saturday fleet roams on Saturday. That's why they call it Saturday. But yeah, so we'll be roaming around doing some shit tomorrow probably. All right, thanks everyone. Or have a good one, and we'll catch you later.
Right.
All right, should be off.
All right then. Now we're gonna sign out.